Hi everyone, today I'm here with hopefully a quick video. Today I'm going to be talking about basically a wrap up of 2022 for me and some goals for 2023. 2022 was one of the worst reading years for me. My Goodreads goal for 2022 was 65 books. I did not manage that at all. I've read 43 books in 2022, which makes it one of the worst reading years for me throughout my reading life. Yeah, I'm not too sure why exactly that's happened. I did change job in 2021 in summer. So I think working 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday is affecting me a lot more, plus having about a 40-minute commute each way as well. As on top of it, plus obviously having chores in the evening and stuff like that does eat up my time, and then when I'm done with all of that I don't have much time to read because by that time I'm already tired, and I'm guessing that's that. So unfortunately that's happened. I would like to read more. I mean, 43 is still pretty decent, I guess, but it's just for my personal preference. I'd prefer to read more books, especially considering in all the previous years I used to be reading at least 50 books. 50 to 60 something would normally be my average year sort of thing. So yeah, that's happened. So I'll only be talking about the ratings and genres that I read, so I'm not going to be talking too much into detail of what I've read. I don't, I'm afraid, have any sort of visual things with me this time, or before really, as I know a lot of people do those things with different graphs and everything. Unfortunately I don't have that. I might do that for the future, but I'm not too sure, but at the moment I don't have it. I will be looking down because I have written it all down old-fashioned way. So in 2022 I've had 3 rereads, and I don't think they're included in either 5-star books or in the genres because I don't technically count them as well much. So 5-star books, I had 7 5-star books in 2022, so I will be next filming a video, my favourite books of 2022, which will include all those 7 books, so you've got that to look forward to if you want to. And then I have 4-star books. I've read 11 4-star books. Then I didn't have 4.5 stars this year. 3.5 stars, I have 4 of those. Then 3-star books is 17 books, which is quite a lot, so that's another thing that my reading year wasn't that amazing. 2-star books, I've got 1, and I have also 7 DNFs. So yeah, that's that. I also think in terms of ratings, for sure, I will talk about that in my goals for 2023, but because of these ratings it just also wasn't a great reading year, obviously, because I'd like to enjoy my reading much more, so I'll talk about the goals later on. But anyway, so genres read. Apparently my most read genre in 2022 was either paranormal fantasy, well it was fantasy and a little bit of paranormal fantasy. I sort of combined them, which was I think 1 or 2 books anyway, but it was 10 books of fantasy genre, and also 10 middle grade. So it's like my top, I know middle grade is not really a genre, it's more of a age category, but I count it because it's mostly, I think, would have been middle grade fantasy anyway, so it depends on how you count it. But for me I think middle grade is kind of a genre because it's got different, it's different to like adult and young adult literature, so it's different. Then I've got mystery thriller because I can't always differentiate between them, so I've combined the 2, and that was 6 books. Then we've got science fiction or sci-fi thriller. I've had 5 of those. After that there's horror with 4 books, which surprised me a little bit. I did discover horror in 2022 and it's, I would say, maybe one of my favourite genres, but I'd like to explore more of those, obviously. Then we have adult contemporary with 3, and then we've got 1 non-fiction and 1 like dual timeline. I couldn't quite put it in any other genre. It would either be historical fiction or something else. I just realised this is the first year ever I've not really had any historical fiction. I haven't read a single historical fiction. That's very unlike me. It used to be one of my favourite genres, but I think things changed in 2022. Obviously I've gone a lot into horror and sci-fi fantasy, and I still don't know what my favourite genre is, but I think in 2022 I've discovered that I do really enjoy sci-fi, and mystery thriller is definitely becoming one of my favourite genres, or like detective novels and stuff like that. So it's definitely expanding. So since I've now started talking about 2023, let's tell you about my goals for 2023. Again, I'm going to be looking slightly down because I have written it down in a separate thing. But anyway, so my Goodreads goal, the main goal, is to read 50 books. I'm going to try my best and achieve that goal. I'm not going to be too upset if I don't reach it, because I think this year there are quite a few books that are rather big on my TBR that I'd like to get to this year. So we'll see. My second goal is to aim to read 4 books per month. More if possible, obviously. 4 is a good amount. I'm not going to be stressed out about it. It's pretty much a book a week, which should be doable, especially considering the weekend is the time that I read the most. And I do most of my reading during then. So it should be possible to do 4 books a month, but hopefully more than that. My next one is focus on quality, not quantity. So that's an example of the previous year. So before, I would be thinking, oh no, I'm so behind on my Goodreads challenge, or I've got so many unread books and I need to read them all. So I would pick up shorter books that I wasn't necessarily in the mood for. So be a lot of middle grades. As you've seen, I've had 10 middle grades. And I realised also in 2022, towards the end of the year, that I'm not a massive fan of middle grade anymore. I like creepy middle grades, but not other middle grades. I've still got a few of just normal middle grades on my shelves, so I'll still have to read those at some point, but definitely they wouldn't be my priority. And if I want to DNF them or unhold them at some point, that would be absolutely fine with me. That also includes me mostly focusing on mood reads. So I'm gonna try and not play any games, TBR games, because they just don't work for me. As much as I love them, as much as I like playing them and having a little bit of a TBR every month, it just doesn't work for me. It puts me off. I'm not in the mood then for them. So what I've decided to try and do this year is try and go with the mood. Whenever I'm in the mood for a specific book or a specific genre, go and pick it up then. And also try not to read multiple books at the same time. That's not gonna probably happen, but I'm going to try and just focus on one book, and when I'm done with that one, go and do another one. The rereads that I'm still doing, Harry Potter rereads, they're not going to count in that, because I still want to have a book that I'm sort of reading on my own anyway, so that will still happen, and it'll be 2 books. And obviously an audiobook, if I'm ever in the mood for an audiobook, like right now I'm listening to one, but I'm not going to force myself to listen to it rather quickly, to like finish it by the end of the month or something. I'm just going to make it, again, mood, like mostly based on the mood. So if I'm in the mood to listen to the audiobook, I'll listen to the audiobook. If it takes me 2 months to listen to that audiobook, it's absolutely fine. I'm not forcing myself, because I figured when I force myself, I don't tend to enjoy those things at all. So, and that also includes me not being put off by size of books. So before, I'd look at the book and think, that's probably going to take me a whole month to read it. So in the meantime, I could just read like 4 to 5 books and instead of that big one. This year, if I'm in the mood for a big book, go read a big book. Because also, if I'm in the mood for a book, I'm going to enjoy it so much more. And then if I just follow the mood, that means my reading is going to be so much more enjoyable. I'm going to enjoy so many more books than I would otherwise if I just go and read the book I'm not currently in the mood for, but I have to read because I put it on the TBR and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just go with the mood. Don't be put off by the size, and don't force myself to read whenever I don't want to read. So like if I want to spend an evening playing The Sims, I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna feel guilty about not reading, because I've also realised another little thing. If, let's say, it's an evening and I'm thinking, oh, I've got so many unread books and I need to go and read them, that puts me off of reading. But if I just sit down thinking, what am I in the mood for to do today? Am I in the mood to play The Sims? And if I'm in the mood to play The Sims, go play The Sims. Am I in the mood to try and learn piano? Go learn piano, and stuff like that. And a lot of the time I noticed in the evening when I'm thinking of what I'm in the mood to do, and then I think, am I in the mood for reading? And then it's like, yes. So I've noticed with much less pressure when I'm not making myself read, I read a lot more and I enjoy it a lot more, and hopefully I'll read more books as well, but not because I have to read more books, but because it will naturally happen that I'm in the mood for so many more books and genres and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll be just a natural process. Anyway, let's move on to my next goal, which is try not to buy too many books. As you've seen probably in 2022, I've had quite a few book hauls, so I've acquired quite a lot of books, and I think my TBR at the moment is just over 200. I think it may be 220 something, I'm not too sure. I haven't had my recent one, so I need to film that at some point as well, which will be around 30 books, I think. So yeah, my goal, I'm not gonna make myself not buy books at all, because I know for a fact if I tell myself I'm not gonna buy books, I'm just gonna go on a rampage and buy all of the books I can. So if I just sort of restrict myself slightly to try not to buy too many books, that's reasonable enough for me, and that I'm not restricted. I can buy a book whenever I want to, just try not to buy too many throughout the year. That's the goal. Also, if you can hear some funny noises, that's because my cat is washing himself next to me, so that's what you can probably hear. My next goal is try and read through my TBR, and that means basically try and read, obviously, again, try not to buy too many books, but also just try to read through some maybe older TBR books or some thick books or some series or something like that. Basically just go with my TBR and read through those as much as I can. Then another goal is read different genres, but I think that'll be natural because, like I said, I read sci-fi and I read horror, thriller, mystery, cozy mysteries. I'd like to also get into cozy fantasy. I'd like to read more non-fiction, more historical fiction as well, and different genres basically. That'd be great because I like switching between genres and I get quite bored if I'm just reading the same genre again and again, so I need to switch them every now and then. But hopefully this year there'll be a lot more variety of different genres. My next one is read more non-fiction because, like I said, I do enjoy it, but I just tend to avoid it because, again, it takes me much longer, and obviously there's a bit more of a brain process in there because sometimes you have to understand what's being said or pay more attention to it and stuff like that. So I need to read more non-fiction because I've got a few books, I don't have too many, but they're all on different topics. And I'd like to read them, but I just don't tend to gravitate towards them because they take a little bit more effort. And again, tying it with my previous one is quality over quantity. So, and then my last goal is read more books by authors I like. So T. Kingfisher is the one that I discovered in 2022. I've read 2 books by her, and I've got another one, What Moves the Dead. And I'd like to get to more of her books, and there are a lot of other authors that I like to read from, by them. I can't quite think of anyone. Laura Purcell, I know her book is coming out in January and I've pre-ordered that one, and I still haven't read her other book that was released I think last year. And some other ones I can't quite remember at the moment, but it'd be great. And maybe also try and read more through the series that I've started. I don't start mini series. I'm not the kind of person who has a lot of series on the go, because I do tend to read them one by one and then move on to the next series. It's not my official goal though, but it's sort of going to be somewhere at the back of my mind anyway. So yeah, those are my goals for 2023. Let me know in the comments if you've got any goals for 2023, if you've decided to do anything like this, and just let me know how your reading year was in 2022. I'd like to chat in the comments with you. But yes, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!